I find this fascinating. Researchers from the University of Melbourne in Australia have published a study in Perceptual Science suggest that personality traits do not simply affect your view on life, but the way your perceptual construct perceives reality itself. The Journal of Research in Personality suggests that openness to experience changes what people see in the world. It makes them more likely to experience certain visual perceptions. With a study group of 123 volunteers, they have come up with a description of a possible method how the brain allows visual stimulus to be processed and inserted into your perceptual field. Your perceptual field is the part of the entire visual field you experience with any conceptual awareness. Look straight ahead of you right now. Just look, I'll give you a second. Now hold out your arm at arm's length and look at your outstretched thumbnail. The thumbnail is the size of your perceptual field. You may in the periphery of your whole visual field see everything else that is not covered by your thumbnail. Which is the vast majority of it? Whatever you look at, all you really see is what can be covered by the thumbnail geometry. It's there, but your perception, the part of your mind that has any attention, any cognitive focus, any awareness at all, is occulted by your thumbnail, postage stamp awareness. You see it but you don't really see it. There is secondary confirmation of this study that connects personality with perception. In an earlier study it showed that those who score high in openness are less likely to experience inattentional blindness, also known as perceptual blindness. It is a psychological lack of attention that is not associated with any vision defects or deficits. It may be further defined as the event in which an individual fails to perceive an unexpected stimulus that is in plain sight. That infers that the more open-minded you are, the less of inattentional blindness you experience. You perceive more and broader perceptual field. You see things other people do not and can't see at any given site or situation. By the intensity of your open-mindedness, it changes how much you can really see at any given moment. What the word see ultimately means is where it starts to get very interesting. This idea of personality having some connection to how you perceive your universe around you has some internal logic that I seem to agree with. It is more than plausible. The online magazine QZ.com explained it this way. They then tested who experienced a visual perception phenomenon called binocular rivalry. This phenomenon occurs when each eye is shown a different image, in this case, a red patch in one eye and a green patch to another. Most people switch back and forwards between the two incompatible images, as the brain can only perceive one at a time. But some people merge the two images into a unified red-green patch. Participants who scored higher on openness were more likely to perceive this combined image. This makes sense, according to the researchers, because openness to new experiences is linked with creativity. The ability to combine two images seems like a creative solution to the problem presented by the two incompatible stimuli. Every second of your waking day you are filtering out the vast majority of reality just by how our brains evolved to survive. Our survival in the hostile billions of years of evolution, it was always more advantageous to have a better perception of your environment than either your predators, competition, and also your environmental situation. If this link between personality and perception is a true one, then it infers something very special. This study and procedures are a two-dimensional representation of something we have to ponder in 4 dimensions. If we are going to attempt to apply this linkage to our brains in our 4D experience, I suspect we have to broaden the scope to include more facets of our perceptual world. We are complex conscious creatures after all. Can people more open-minded actually see more of the electromagnet spectrum? Can they hear more in the auditory realms? Are smell and tastes affected as well? All this also sounds like a good description of what the researched mental condition of synesthesia is as well. That has some internal logic to me that makes sense in my experience. The diversity and complexity of our personalities could provide quite unique perceptual consciousness throughout our planetary population. Can some people see UFOs when others cannot? Can some people see the wild, weird world of the paranormal while others cannot? Interesting line of thought, mind candy. A fanciful yet probable hypothesis. As we proceed to understand just how our consciousness work, what we currently call impossible or at least highly improbably may just be prosaic after all. Keep an open mind. You may find what you truly seek.